mic stand up again, so I can't reach it. Woo! I'm so nervous, I could piss myself. That wasn't a joke, but thanks. So, as Grace was so kind as to introduce me, I'm Zach Taylor. I refer to as the metrosexual Viking for obvious reasons. The pillaging, mainly. So this is actually my first stand-up do. It's something I've been looking to get into for a long time, but never been able to. When I first told my ex-girlfriend that I was planning on doing stand-up comedy, she laughed at me for a solid 5 minutes. True story, she actually did. And then after about 5 minutes, I thought she was having a seizure or a breakdown or something. So I shook her back to life, and she looked up at me. Down is maybe more accurate, and said, "But Zach, you're not funny." So, ignoring the fact that she was, at this point, wiping tears of laughter from her eyes, and the fundamental irony of that, I'd like to think that I'm quite a funny person. I've made a lot of people laugh throughout my life. Some of them even laughed with me, rather than just at me. So yeah, for those of you who might have picked up on that, I said ex-girlfriend. I'm currently single. Woo! Thanks for that. I'll see you later. So yeah. Me and this girl broke up a while ago, and in hindsight, the way that it happened was actually quite funny. I know. So she'd been really busy, so I went round to her house to cook her dinner and be a good boyfriend, that kind of thing. And I was in the kitchen, literally cooking her dinner, an all-day breakfast, because they're the fucking best. And that's when she came into the kitchen, sat down and said, "Sorry Zach, I don't think this is working. I think you should pack up your stuff and move out." So we both have really warped senses of humour, so I thought it was a joke. So the first words out of my mouth, having literally just been dumped, were, "But sweetheart, if I leave, the eggs will burn." And then I turned around to her, smiling like a loon, because I thought I just made her funny. And that's when it became painfully clear that she was being deadly serious. This triggered a really awkward situation, because obviously this was something we needed to have a serious conversation about. But at the same time, if I was to leave now, these eggs really were going to burn. Apparently, I was more concerned with the state of my dinner than the state of my relationship. So while my feelings may have been scrambled, the eggs were fried to perfection. I'll take that. I swear that's the only pun. I hope. So yeah, people deal with breakups in a lot of different ways. I remember talking to a creative writing student, a friend of mine, who smokes a lot of weed all the time. And he was saying stuff like, "You know what you should do, man? You know what you should do?" He actually speaks like this, it's really hard to decipher, but he was like, "You know what you should do, man? You should gather up all these feelings, gather up all these emotions, man. You should smoke some weed, get really fucking high, and then you should write a poem. You should write an angry poem. That'll make you feel so much better." So, that's exactly what I did. Gathering up all of the raw emotion that a breakup's capable of conjuring, I put to paper my feelings in what is possibly the greatest literary style ever devised by man, a limerick, which I will now present to you. I once dated a girl with great legs. She insisted on dates down at Greg's, but she broke up with me while I was making her tea. It sucked, but I did try perfect eggs. I wrote that on a post-it note as well, because I'm a classy guy. So, yeah, since that breakup, I have a friend of mine who's been trying to convince me to download Tinder. Yeah, exactly. It's something I've been really reluctant to do, because I think it's really shallow to sort of judge who you want to spend time with based on, like, a profile picture and, 500 characters worth of bio. But I guess when you're as average as I am, that's sort of an opinion you have to hold on principle. So yeah, I'm not really keen on the whole going up and speaking to people, like speaking to women or anyone, whoever you're interested in, mainly because I don't have a specific type of person that I'm attracted to. Yeah, you do. So, thanks for that. You threw me off. Yeah, because I hear my friends saying about how they like blonde girls or redheads or girls with American accents. Apparently, that's a joke for someone in the back who I think is hopefully there. But the only thing I really look for in like a partner is if they're like a nice person. You know, if they've got like a massive personality, that's even better. I thought I'd get jeered at for that one, so that's good. So yeah, the whole dating thing, I've never really been much of a fan of, but I'm really good with children, so I'm looking forward to. Wow, that was maybe poorly worded of me. I'm really looking forward to settling down and having children. Kids are crazy, and I get on really well with them because we have the same mental age. And ever since I turned about 16, I've helped babysit my older brother's kids, my niece and nephews, for like fairly regularly for a while. And I remember one time that I was babysitting my niece. She's 5 years old, and she was playing quietly with her toys, which is always a bad sign because well-behaved children are never quiet. And so I thought, I'm gonna have to go and investigate this. So I said, Rosie, that's her name by the way, that's not a random person. Rosie, what are you up to? And she looked at me with the most disgusted look I've ever seen in my entire life and said, Uncle Zach, are you stupid or something? Obviously, I'm making a trap for the tooth fairy. So this is when, you know, my 5-year-old mental age kicked in, and I thought, that's a really good idea. Someone should trap that bitch. Who does she think she is, coming into people's houses at night and stealing their teeth? So I said, okay, Rosie, how can I help you make this trap? And she said, Uncle Zach, I need a bear trap and some teeth to lure the bitch out. So I said, why just one bear trap? Let's string them up from the ceiling. She'll never make it out alive. So yeah, we got the tooth fairy. So none of you are ever getting pounds for losing teeth ever again, and I'm not sorry. And then I'll talk about my other nephews as well. There's Benji. He's really young. He's still basically an infant, and he hates me with a passion. He bursts into tears basically whenever I look in his general direction. So he takes after the rest of my family. And then there's Christian. Christian is really adorable. He's the middle child. And he's always very content just doing whatever it is that anyone else wants to do. Whatever the grown-ups are doing, he's quite happy. So there was one time I was babysitting him, and it was in the run-up to exam season. So I was really, really stressed out. And I said, so Christian, what would you like to do? And he said, I'm going to do whatever you're doing, Uncle Zach. So I said, well, Christian, I'm probably going to drown in my own self-loathing while I stress out frantically about these approaching exams. And the fact that my health is likely going to deteriorate as a result. And he looked at me and said, Uncle Zach, you're weird. Can we watch CBeebies? So yeah, that's me done.